In April, a manager at retailer Mr. DIY Malaysia turned away a woman looking for a job based on the fact that she was a member of the ethnic Indian community.
Racism is still in Malaysia.
As a Malaysian Indian myself, this is anything but surprising to me. Malaysia's ethnic minorities have always faced adversities. These challenges are part of the systemic racism embedded in the country's legal framework that spans privileges in housing, education, and everything in between. But how did Malaysia end up with these laws? Where else does racism manifest in the country, and what can be done about it? This is EST Explains. The discrimination against minorities in Malaysia can be traced back to the British colonial era. When the British left, the race was between the Indians and the Chinese to own corporate equity shares. The Malays were left behind. But while they lost economic power, they held on to political power. In 1969, racial riots saw communal violence between ethnic Malays and Chinese break out in the capital, Kuala Lumpur. The event led to the first Prime Minister, Tunku Abdul Rahman, stepping down from office and eventually resulted in a change in government policy called the New Economic Policy. This policy introduced affirmative action for Malays, meant to lift low-income Malays out of poverty. Today, 69.8% of Malaysia's population are the Bumiputra. 22.4% of citizens are ethnically Chinese, and 6.8% are ethnically Indian. Malays continue to benefit from a policy enacted in the 70s, putting other marginalized groups at a stark disadvantage. Ethnic minorities are often told to go back to where we came from. I've experienced this myself. When I think about my roots in this country, the only homeland I will ever know, I think about my great-grandmother. She built a whole life for herself in Malaysia and raised her kids and her grandkids here. She never returned to India. What would she have returned to? Malaysia was home.